All right, let's dive in. Today we're taking a deep dive into some Martian mysteries.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is,
Yeah.
especially because, you're so fascinated by space and life beyond Earth.
Who isn't?
That's true. And speaking of that, you sent in a bunch of articles and even some audio clips
Yeah.
about all these strange sightings on Mars.
Yeah.
Like you're really ready to separate fact from fiction.
Definitely. I need some help with that.
Well, you've come to the right place because we've got just the person to help us navigate all this.
Great. I'm excited to see what we uncover.
Me too. I have to say, going through this stuff, some of it is pretty wild.
I bet. Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Okay, well, we've got everything from a ghost lady on Mars
A ghost lady. Okay, I'm
to
listening.
Yetis. Wait, hold on. Yetis on Mars.
Yep. And even, get this, a face hugger crab.
A face hugger crab.
Yeah.
Now, that's just taking it too far, isn't it?
I know, right?
Wow, that's quite a collection of,
Yeah, some of these sources are a little, let's say, creative.
to put it
Ugh.
mildly, but I have to admit, even I was like, wait, a face hugger crab? Hold on a second. Is that really what I'm seeing?
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, isn't it?
Totally. That's the thing. It's like this push and pull between wanting to believe
Yeah.
and then also being like, come on, really?
It's that age-old question, are we alone?
Right.
It makes you wonder.
And one thing that really jumped out at me while I was going through all these sightings was how often people see familiar things in these Martian landscapes.
Interesting.
It's like there's the woman sighting, there's the skull,
Right.
there's the Yeti.
Yeah.
It's almost like our brains are wired to see these things.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That's a phenomenon called pareidolia.
Pareidolia. Yeah.
It's that tendency we have as humans to see familiar patterns.
Oh, like seeing shapes in clouds.
Exactly. Or faces in toast.
I do that all the time with toast. I see a lot of faces in my breakfast.
It's a very human thing.
But you're saying that this pareidolia thing, it goes into overdrive when it comes to Mars.
Oh, absolutely. We're looking at these images and we're kind of primed to see what we want to see, like alien life.
Because we want to believe.
Exactly. So suddenly a rock formation becomes a Martian monument, or a shadow becomes some mysterious creature lurking in the background.
I get that. I totally get that.
It's exciting.
If there were like actual things walking around on Mars, that would be mind-blowing.
It would change everything.
But then you have to balance that with some healthy skepticism, right?
Absolutely. We need to examine the evidence critically.
Exactly. Which brings us to the, let's call it evidence in some of these cases.
All right, let's break it down.
Like you sent this clip, 6 mysterious creatures caught by NASA on Mars.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. What do you make of it?
Well, we've got the skull, the Yeti, and of course our infamous facehugger crab friend.
Quite the lineup.
Are these just tricks of light and shadow?
It's highly likely.
Because they're often kind of blurry, right?
Yes, and taken out of context. Plus, like we were saying, our brains are primed to see the familiar, so it's easy to jump to conclusions.
Like that Martian woman photo.
I remember that one.
Now I'm looking at it, and it really just looks like, a rock.
Pretty much, yeah. But a rock that sparked a lot of imaginations.
Maybe it's a rock with a good publicist.
Maybe.
So we've got pareidolia, the allure of the unknown, but then there are these more elaborate accounts.
Oh, yeah. Some people go all in with their theories.
Like you sent in this clip from Coast to Coast AM,
Oh, that's a classic. Always full of surprises.
where a woman claimed to have seen 2 figures just walking on Mars
Walking on Mars, like casually strolling.
in 1979.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
And she says she saw it through a live feed from the Viking lander.
Interesting. But how could that be possible?
I know, right? And it's so specific. People just casually walking around on Mars in 1979, no spacesuits, no problem.
It does seem a bit far-fetched, doesn't it?
It's one of the more detailed accounts I came across, but it's like, really?
Well, it's important to remember that sometimes the most compelling stories aren't necessarily true.
Right. We have to separate the emotional impact from the actual facts.
Exactly. She might genuinely believe what she saw, but that doesn't make it true.
And that's where the red flags start popping up.
Like what?
Well, for one, no one else seems to have seen these mysterious figures.
You'd think if multiple people were watching this live feed, someone else would have corroborated her story.
Exactly. And then there's the whole walking around on Mars without a spacesuit thing.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. The Martian atmosphere is incredibly thin. The temperatures are extreme.
Right. Not exactly a stroll in the park.
You'd need more than just a sun hat and some sunscreen to survive out there.
Absolutely. And think about the Viking program itself. It was groundbreaking, but, Sending humans for a leisurely stroll on Mars? That wasn't part of the mission.
They were focused on searching for microbial life, not planning Martian vacations.
Exactly. So it seems like we're seeing a perfect storm here.
What do you mean?
Pareidolia, the allure of the unknown. Maybe some embellishment or misinterpretation of events over time.
Like a game of telephone where the story gets a little more dramatic with each retelling.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that people are intentionally lying,
Of course not.
but memory is a tricky thing.
It can be influenced by so many factors.
And our brains are always trying to make sense of the world, even if it means filling in the blanks with a little bit of, let's say, creative license.
That's how some of the best stories are born, right?
Right. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're true.
True, but they're definitely entertaining.
And it's important to remember, even if we're debunking some of these alien sightings, it doesn't mean we should stop wondering about the mysteries of the universe.
Absolutely not. There's so much we still don't know.
And that's what makes it all so exciting.
Exactly. And while those sightings might not hold up under scientific scrutiny, the question of life on Mars, well, that's a different story.
Oh, really? So we're not ruling it out completely.
Not at all. There's a whole other side to this exploration, one that's grounded in science and rigorous research, and that's what we'll delve into next.
Buckle up, everyone, because we're about to get into some serious science.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too. Let's go. So we've talked about all those sightings, right? The blurry photos and pareidolia and all that.
Yeah, it's amazing how our brains can play tricks on us.
They really can.
But now let's shift gears a little.
Okay, where are we headed?
Let's talk about the real search for life on Mars.
Now we're talking.
Because even after debunking all those alien sightings, I still find myself kind of caught up in the mystery of it all, you know?
The mystery is definitely still there.
Like, okay, maybe it wasn't a facehugger crab, but what if there is something else out there?
That's the big question, isn't it?
What if there really is some form of life on Mars?
Well, the possibility of life on Mars, especially in the past, is something scientists are actively investigating.
I was reading about how Mars wasn't always the dry, dusty planet we see today.
Right. It was a much different place billions of years ago.
Like it had flowing water.
That's right. A thicker atmosphere, maybe even a habitable environment?
Really? So the possibility of, like, past microbial life, or even some kind of extremophile life existing today, is actually on the table.
It's definitely a possibility that scientists are considering.
Whoa, extremophiles. Okay, back up for a second.
Yeah.
What exactly are those? They sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
They kind of are. They're organisms that can survive in conditions that would be deadly to most life as we know it.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, think boiling hot springs, acidic lakes, the freezing depths of the ocean.
The really extreme environments.
Exactly. Places that seem totally inhospitable to us.
But these extremophiles can handle it.
They can.
So you're saying there could be these tiny creatures living in those kinds of extreme conditions on Mars, even today?
It's not impossible. And just imagine what that would mean.
Yeah.
Finding even the simplest form of life on Mars would be huge. Revolutionary.
It would change everything, right?
It would tell us that life isn't limited to Earth, that it could arise independently in other parts of the universe.
It's incredible. It's mind-blowing, really, to think about.
It really is.
And I know scientists are sending all sorts of rovers and probes to Mars.
They're working hard on this.
Are they finding any clues that point in that direction?
Well, rovers like Curiosity and Perseverance are exploring the Martian surface.
What are they doing exactly?
They're collecting samples, analyzing the geology, looking for signs of past habitability.
What kind of signs?
Things like organic molecules, traces of water, maybe even fossilized microbes.
So maybe no little green men running around, but maybe some tiny fossils hiding in the rocks.
That's still a pretty amazing possibility.
I remember you mentioning bringing samples back to Earth. Is
Yeah.
that really going to happen?
There are missions in development to do just that.
Wow.
Bringing Martian samples back to Earth would allow scientists to study them in much more detail with more sophisticated equipment.
It's like bringing the lab to Mars.
Exactly. But with even more control and precision,
And it's not just NASA.
right?
Other countries are getting in on the Mars action too.
It's a global effort.
I read about the European Space Agency's ExoMars mission.
Yes. That one's searching for signs of life, too, both past and present.
It's pretty cool to think about all these different countries working together on this.
It's really inspiring.
This shared desire to understand if we're alone in the universe.
That's what drives it all, I think.
It really puts those alien sighting claims into perspective, doesn't it?
It's interesting, right? On the one hand, you have these sensational claims based on blurry images and personal interpretations.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you have this meticulous scientific process
Uh-huh.
where every piece of data is scrutinized, analyzed, debated.
It's the difference between, like, reading a tabloid headline and reading a peer-reviewed scientific journal.
It's a great way to put it. And while those tabloid headlines might catch our attention, it's the scientific research that's really moving our understanding forward.
It's a slower process, for sure,
It takes time.
but it's based on evidence, data, careful analysis.
That's the key.
Makes sense. And I can't help but think back to that question you posed earlier
Which one?
about what kind of life would be most likely on Mars, given what we know about the planet.
Yes. It's a question that really sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It does. It makes you think about all the different forms life could take.
Exactly. We tend to picture aliens based on our own experiences, but the reality could be completely different.
Forget the little green men, right?
Exactly. We could be talking about microbes, bacteria, or something we haven't even thought of yet.
Something totally bizarre and amazing.
That's the beauty of science. It's about being open to the unexpected.
And thinking about those harsh conditions on Mars, it
Mhm.
really makes you appreciate the resilience of life itself.
Doesn't it? Life finds a way.
Maybe those Martian extremophiles, if they're out there, hold the key to understanding how life could exist in other extreme environments.
It's a fascinating thought.
Even without finding definite proof of life on Mars, learning about this whole scientific process, the missions, the research, it's all just incredibly fascinating.
It really is. It's a testament to human ingenuity, our drive to explore, our endless curiosity.
And it's important to remember that the journey itself, the pursuit of knowledge, is just as valuable as the destination.
Couldn't agree more.
I love that. The journey is the destination.
Speaking of journeys,
Yeah.
we've been on quite a ride today, haven't we? From those alien sightings to the meticulous search for life on Mars.
We covered a lot of ground.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that both of these approaches, the sensational and the scientific, come from that same human desire.
What do you mean?
The desire to understand our place in the universe.
I see what you're saying.
Whether we're looking for patterns in blurry photos or analyzing data from rovers, we're all searching for answers, for meaning.
It's true, and sometimes those answers are more complex than we expect.
It can be.
But that's what makes the journey so rewarding. We started this deep dive talking about alien sightings, but we've ended up in this incredible place,
Where have we ended up?
contemplating the nature of life itself
It's amazing how these topics can lead to such profound reflections.
and the vastness of the universe. It's pretty awe-inspiring.
It is. And those Martian landscapes, even without the Yetis and the facehugger crabs, they're pretty amazing in their own right.
I know, right? There's this stark, haunting beauty to Mars.
It captures the imagination, even in the absence of life as we know it.
It reminds us that there's still so much wonder and beauty out there in the universe waiting to be discovered.
That's a great way to put it, and a perfect transition to our final part of this deep dive.
Perfect. So we've explored the myths, the science, and the beauty of Mars. Now what?
Now we delve into what it all means for us, for you, as we continue to explore the mysteries of the Red Planet.
As we're wrapping up this deep dive into Martian mysteries, I'm struck by how much we've covered. It's been quite a journey.
It really has, from those alien sightings to the search for life and even appreciating the beauty of Mars. We've explored a lot.
And one thing that keeps coming back to me is that even if we never find, like a Martian civilization or something, the search itself is incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. The search for life beyond Earth, whether it's on Mars or somewhere else entirely, it pushes us,
How so?
It pushes the boundaries of what we know and what we can do. Our technology, our understanding of life itself, it makes us ask those big questions about our place in the universe.
It's true. Every time we send a rover to Mars, analyze a sample, it feels like we're learning something new, not just about Mars, but about life in general.
Exactly. And remember those incredible Martian landscapes?
Oh, yeah.
They remind us that beauty and wonder exist even if we don't find, little green men running around.
Right.
The beauty of Mars is just, it's a testament to nature's power,
I know, it's like this stark, almost haunting beauty. It really captures the imagination. It makes you realize that this whole search for life beyond Earth, it's not just about finding aliens.
Right.
It's about expanding our understanding of life, period. appreciating its variety, its adaptability, even in those tiny microscopic forms.
Like those extremophiles we talked about?
Oh, yeah. Those things are amazing.
Living in boiling acid or freezing ice, they sound like they're from another planet, but they're right here on Earth.
And they could hold the key to understanding how life might exist in other extreme environments throughout the universe. Like, who knows? Maybe there are extremophiles on Mars right now.
It's a mind-boggling thought, isn't it? Life finds a way.
I sometimes catch myself just looking up at the night sky and thinking about all those stars, all those galaxies, and it's just overwhelming.
It is, in the best way, I think.
It's like this feeling of awe and wonder that just washes over you.
And it's that feeling that has driven human exploration for, well, forever, really.
It has, hasn't it? And every new discovery, every step we take further into space, it seems like that sense of wonder just grows.
It does. It's like we're at the edge of this vast, uncharted territory, just beginning to see what might be out there.
And it's both exciting and a little humbling at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes scientific exploration so incredible.
It really is.
It's a journey of discovery that never ends. Every answer leads to more questions, new paths to explore.
We're constantly pushing the boundaries of what we know.
That's the thrill of it.
One thing I appreciate about this deep dive is that it's challenged me to think critically about the information I come across.
That's great.
Like those alien sighting claims, they were fun to consider, but now I'm definitely looking at them a little differently.
It's about finding that balance between curiosity and skepticism.
Right.
We should always be open to new ideas, but we need to look at the evidence, ask questions, and really seek out reliable information.
Like you said earlier, it's about embracing both wonder and skepticism at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, as we wrap things up here, I want to thank you for taking us on this incredible journey. It's been a real eye-opener.
The pleasure was all mine. It's been fantastic to explore these Martian mysteries with you and to ponder these bigger questions that they raise about life, the universe, everything.
And to you, our listener, thank you for sending us down this rabbit hole of Martian mysteries. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive and that it's given you a new perspective on the red planet and the search for extraterrestrial life. Remember, even if we never find those definitive signs of aliens, the journey itself is what's truly rewarding. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and never lose that sense of wonder. Who knows what amazing discoveries await us in the vastness of space? This is The Deep Dive, signing off.